My name is William Elise. I'm a registered architect and a 30-year resident of Garden City. I think the residency aspect is very important because, like everyone else in the village, I have a vested interest in the future of St. Paul's and its impact on the village. The Engineering and Design Subcommittee is composed of 7 members. I think I'll remember all their names. The first one I'd like to mention is Paul Capes. He's a fellow architect, registered architect. He has his own firm, and he's also a Garden City resident. We have Bill Solon and Brian Gemmel, Joe Platty. These are all facilities project managers with a wealth of experience in value engineering. We have William Kuehl, who's a landscape architect, which is an important component of this project. And most importantly, we have 2 structural engineers, Joe Jabor and Richard Redman, and structural engineering has become a critical part of this exercise. So their contribution is tremendous. Our committee is it's sort of meat and potatoes. Even though we're a set committee, I'm finding that we're constantly overlapping with the other committees. So case in point, we're providing some initial drawings that will be given to the Finance Committee as they interact with contractors, et cetera, to budget this potential project. We're interacting with the Historical Research Committee, with the Uses Committee, again, to see what functionality the building itself could support. So we're constantly liaising with all of them. On our initial task, we had to investigate the structural stability of the building. I mean, case in point, if the building was not stable, it sort of would end the project right then and there. That would be it. It would be a danger to the community and it would have to be eliminated. Fortunately, that was not the result of that exercise. There was a structural stability report. It was headed by Joe Jabor from my subcommittee, and it conclusively proved that the building wasn't going anywhere. It's strong and it's stable and it's there for as long as we want it to remain. The next exercise we did, we were entrusted by the mayor to do a preliminary programming exercise. This was very complicated because at this stage, it's kind of hard to define what functions would be best suited for the project. And what we ended up doing was looking at 3 aspects of the building. The first being the structural stability, what the building can withstand and within what confines and limitations. So for example, we found that within the existing structure of the building, the dimensions of clearances don't really facilitate any athletic activity. So it tends to be more of a non-athletic response. The second thing that we looked at was the zoning ordinances, which would sort of define what could go in the building and what couldn't, and what would require some sort of a variance, or a legal response. And the third one, perhaps most important in my view, is the response to the new demographic of the village. We wanted to do a facility that would support the entire village. So we looked at everything from pre-K right up to seniors and providing the right facilities for everyone involved. We have support space for the Department of Recreation. We have support space for everything from multi-purpose rooms to adult classrooms. We have teen space, which is very important for our teenage community. Everything from computer space to lounge space, accommodating ping pong and billiards. And then we have an early learning center and a senior center. And these are both very important facilities. Right now, the seniors are struggling within the facilities that the village has. There's 2 facilities. One is very poor, and the other one is actually not built for that purpose. It's a temporary structure. So the seniors need a place. They shouldn't be forgotten. And as far as pre-K, again, the demographics have changed. We now have married couples that both work. And supporting that effort is something that Garden City Village can do within the confines of this space. Everyone in Garden City, from Girl Scouts to senior citizens, everyone is looking for meeting space. And we believe St. Paul's can provide that. Oh, I'd like to also mention that there's a kitchen facility in the basement that was originally built to support the lunchroom function of the school. If that can be restored, it would be great because then we have catering facilities for the building itself. And more importantly, perhaps it could also support an event response. So if people rent a reception room or have a special event taking place there, they can in fact have it catered. Demolishing is a very important alternative, which we have to be very cognizant that we have to investigate fully. And to my knowledge, there's three ways that demolition could take place. One would be the traditional wrecking ball, just tear the whole thing down. The second would be a partial demolition, where perhaps you salvage the facade or portions of the building. And the last would be a historical demolition. I don't think there's a law that pushes historical demolition on the village. Having said that, I think there's almost a moral responsibility to look at this because of the quality of the space that's inside St. Paul's. You will know that there's a beautiful chapel inside with windows by Tiffany, and restoring these windows, saving these windows would be a critical exercise. But in addition to that, we have the grand staircase with iron grillwork. We have Minton tiles, which are no longer made from England, I believe they were imported. And there's terracotta wall tiles. There's all these elements within the interior of the building that it's our responsibility to maintain and preserve. We're actually going to be storing this information in the village website. And this is the official website that's being created for St. Paul's. The reason this is very important, we welcome the feedback from the village residents. We very much need to hear, why are you dedicating so much space for the Department of Recreation? Or are we giving enough space to the seniors, etc.? Or we don't want another senior center, we don't want a pre-K facility. Whatever the feedback is, it's important to hear, investigate, and perhaps even challenge. This exercise we've done now is well-intentioned, but it's also very preliminary, and it's completely open to criticism, which I believe will prove constructive in the end.